Now, somebody who is not joining us today, not live anyway, but by videotape, is I think everybody knows Vince McMahon from the WWF. Yeah, Vince has had several things to say, most of them not very kind about the USWA and our fans right here, which doesn't make us very happy. Let's hear what Vince had to say today.
Dick?
Yes, Lyle.
Sorry, that tape didn't come in. It was supposed to arrive by overnight air, and it didn't make it.
I think you hear the reaction here. I'm not too upset myself. Well, if we don't have the Vince McMahon interview, that's okay. Here comes the King right here. I'm just going to go ahead to the next break, but let's see. Let's get the King's viewpoint. I'd rather hear his comments than Vince McMahon's any day. As a matter of fact, I bet he might even have something to say about McMahon. McMahon's interview didn't make it, King.
Well, I heard Lyle say that the interview was supposed to come in overnight air, but it didn't arrive. Well, let me just say this. Let's don't blame Federal Express, because we know that that's a Memphis company, and we know that Memphis does things right. The reason that interview didn't arrive, I can assure you, is the fact that Vince McMahon didn't have the guts to send an interview, because he don't have this to wear around his waist anymore. Now, last week, we stood out here and we watched Vince McMahon up in New York City, up in the Big Apple. And boy, he had a silly little grin. You know why he had that stupid grin on his face? Because he's stupid, that's why. He had that stupid grin on his face, and he couldn't wait to pull that coat open and show this unified World Heavyweight Championship belt that Tonto had taken back up there to him. And he couldn't wait to tell everybody that Tonto was undefeated in the World Wrestling Federation. And he couldn't wait to tell everybody that Tonto was coming back to Memphis to give me one more shot at the belt. Well, Vince McMahon, you sit around there with Tonto now, and you eat crow, punk, because I got this belt right back around my waist, and I got it right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, you want to talk a little bit about fiery competition. I remember that interview. He said, oh, you want to talk about fire? He threw fire on the Giants. The King threw fire and exploded the Giants' head, and that I should be banned from wrestling, but he was going to send a real fiery competitor down here. Well, we sent Tonto packing back up to the World Wrestling Federation, and now we want to send a personal invitation to you, Vince McMahon. I would like for you, one more time, to show your ugly face in my town of Memphis, Tennessee, because you want to see some fire. It ain't nothing that would make me happier than for me to set that foolish-looking face of yours ablaze right in the Mid-South Coliseum. Now, I saw earlier a little video of the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Well, let me tell you something, Vince. You send the Macho Man on down to Memphis, because we got something for the Macho Man, haven't we? I love it when you send your big boys down south. I want to see Mr. Perfect. I want to see the Macho Man. Bring Tonto back. Best of all, I'd love for you to send Bret, the Hitman Hart, and his wrinkled-up old parents. Let them come on down here with him. Because, like I said, in Memphis, Tennessee, the USWA and the King is #1. Don't ever forget it. And if you doubt it, come see me.
Now, wasn't that better than a Vince McMahon interview? We'll be right back.